So let me turn that down for just a second. Hello everybody. Welcome to the Hedgehog Zone Live. We're doing this. Last minute, kind of, sort of. We've been doing that lately. Personally, my computer has actually been down for a couple of weeks. So, big surprise that we started streaming again recently. And here I am. I actually just got access back, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll do this live while the video is getting ready to show up, since I didn't get to do it for the gameplay video 2 days ago. And here we go. Let's see how this turns out. Am I right? All right. So if you didn't already know, we're also a podcast. You can listen to us there. But for now, all the social media stuff at the bottom. And here we go.
IGN First continues on with yet another look at Sonic Frontiers gameplay, this time focusing on combat. Sonic is up against an all-new set of baddies, some of which are among the most massive bosses we've ever seen in a Sonic game. Fortunately, Sonic's got some new tricks up his sleeve. Make sure to stick with IGN all throughout June because we've got a full hands-on preview and interviews from the developers in store. For now, though,
excited?
enjoy the combat of Sonic Frontiers.
Oh yeah. Let's last video we didn't get to see a whole lot, so here we go. Let's see what these mecha poofs do. Okay. We saw that in the trailer. Huh. That's about what I expected so far. What's with the zigzagging though? Sounded like a Power Ranger for a moment there. So how did he get hurt there? Is it because he attacked while it was red, I guess? That's pretty cool. I think the zigzagging thing was cool too. I just thought that he was going to attack multiple things with it. That's highly inappropriate, whatever that was. I like this enemy. It's got Moxie. Whatever it is. So Shalice and Luke were right. The spin cycle is a lot like Sonic Wind or Sonic Tornado. Blue Tornado. Morning, Gio. It would be really cool if each enemy you fight is kind of like a mini boss battle. This actually kind of makes me think of what does it make me think of? It makes me think of Sonic Chronicles, but like as a 3D game almost. Like almost picture like the the cards switching around on the screen. What are those? You know, it's weird that they come off as if they're really tiny, but they're taller than Sonic. It kind of, in that regards, it reminds me of like the Chow a little bit. How I always perceive the Chow as being really tiny, but then I noticed that when the characters are holding them, the Chow are like they're like almost 2 feet tall. Is that an enemy? Is this the enemy the whole time? That's a Titan? Okay. I feel like people are gonna have some things to say about that, but I don't mind too much. Ha, you may be big, but you're slow and dumb. You're no match for Sonic the Hedgehog. I think it's a little weird seeing this without seeing the HUD, because with the gameplay, some people were confused because they couldn't see the HUD, but it wasn't that confusing. It was just Sonic running around and stuff. With this, like it's cool to see that he can do different things, which I expected, but how does it's hard to tell like how it affects Sonic, I guess, being a combat system. Like, does he have to switch anything to use these different abilities? Is it like a Sonic Heroes thing where you just rotate through it, or you just press a different button? Well, you can't be just pressing a different button because otherwise it would clash with your regular moves. It's almost like a mini game. Like run through the blue circles to run up him and avoid the red ones. Nice transition. All right. So that was it. Okie dokie. Well, actually, let me bring it back up. Oops, not that again.
Bosses we've ever seen.
Okay. So, what do you guys think? There's the basic goons. Well, that's a big boy. Yes. I've seen a lot of videos where people were calling different things Titans, and I wasn't sure what they were referring to. And I always the term Titan, as far as I know, came from like the really early leak or whatever you would call it, the person who supposedly beta tested the game and started talking about the game before we actually got any official information, and then we realized retrospectively that they were saying things that turned out to be true, so we started taking information from that original statement. So I think that's where we got the name Titans, and I think also maybe from the the potential plots that somebody found. There was like 4 different potential plots or whatever, and the Titans were supposed to be like the giant enemy that you fight that you see like in the teaser trailer from December, and So I was always under the impression that the Titans were like the really giant ones, and so I didn't know why people were referring to just like a lot of the enemies in general as Titans without knowing. But I think that was a Titan. That was a pretty big enemy. Um, Not very. It didn't look difficult. It looked. I don't want to say it looked easy. It looked challenging in the sense because like there was a challenge there that could be um harmful. Combat looks pretty okay, and I retract my DMC comparison. It feels more Bayonetta. Someone did say that. So I mean, I think in the early statements they said Breath of the Wild, so everybody started saying Breath of the Wild, and not everybody knew where that comparison came from. So like in the fan base, you'll see some people say like, "Oh, there are other open world games besides just Breath of the Wild," and it's like, yeah, that's true. It's just that's the game that the person who played it compared it to, and that's a hard story to tell people because then they say like, well, how do you know the person actually played it? And then there's the history of everything that I just mentioned. So, but someone did mention Bayonetta somewhere. I don't remember when, where, but they did say the game is more like it's kind of like Bayonetta, which was intriguing to some people. Um, it still looks pretty easy, I think. Which I don't have a huge problem with. I know some people do because they've been making the games super easy lately. Um, um, I would prefer more of a challenge, but at the same time, I don't think it has to be like super challenging since Sonic is usually a pick up and play kind of game, anyways. But at least like they used to have a some challenge to it where even if you weren't really good at it, you could still kind of like coast your way through. You just would get hurt or you might die a few times, but it wasn't like unbeatable. And if you were good at it, then you could get through it without those consequences. And I think some people like I think if anyone's ever played Sonic Omens, they tried to make it very difficult, and that was just kind of frustratingly difficult. Not everybody is like a great gamer, just because everyone likes to act like it when they're online. Like every you notice everybody who streams playing a game, they do poorly, and then they're like, man, why am I playing really poorly? As if they don't ever make mistakes, and or people in the chat will always like roast them for playing really badly. But then there's the games where it's like I mean like Sonic doesn't even have lives anymore, so I don't know what happens if you lose all your rings and you get hurt. And I don't mind the attacks. The attacks look cool. I thought the zigzag thing was gonna be more of like a manual thing where you actually like are attacking. Like I thought it was gonna be more like if there's like multiple little enemies around, you can kind of like if you were like homing onto different enemies, but like in a sporadic kind of way. But I guess he's just zigzagging in the air for style, and the camera kind of like turns away from the enemy just to showboat before hitting the enemy, which I don't have a problem with, but it's really weird, and I know some other people will. Um, but I mean, I guess it's flashy. That is cool. Nothing that I've seen so far is anything that I find unexpected. I think everything looks pretty much how I expect, at least on this island. I think I need to see some more islands. I need to see something like give me an environment with like ice or something, and I'll be like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. I was just expecting pretty much this. I don't know what to expect of the cyberspace levels. For some reason, I keep picturing something similar to null space, but with like mixed in with either um, that those levels, those multiplayer levels from Sonic Colors. or that one final racing level from Sonic Riders where it turned like all digital for some reason. And hey, those were birds too. So, okay. What did you say? We oh, you said that already. Combat. We definitely need a peek at the HUD. Yeah, exactly. So, especially for combat, at least, I think combat would is a little weird. Okay, so because you hear the clicking, and I think that it's because of like gameplay mechanics that you just don't see in the HUD. And Sam procrastinates, thinks that wait, was it him or was it Chow Mix? Somebody said they thought it was like the little Chow creatures, or as Luke calls them, poofs, or was it poofers or something like that. Um, so okay, so this thing that I call the mecha poof, I I don't know what all it does. I wonder. I really, that. Okay, so in that gameplay video, there was an enemy on that bridge that like was like a wheel or something that rolled really quickly, and I wish we saw that. Unless we did, and for some reason it didn't click in my head. But we saw this guy, and I remember seeing this pop up by the bridge, the that silver bridge that has like the texture from Sonic Forces, and I saw the wheel thing when I saw this guy pop up, but what does this do? Okay, so it zapped him. I say zapped him, knocked him back, and then he loses his rings. He doesn't flicker and turn invincible temporarily. Is he losing all of his rings or just part of his rings? Does it matter? What do the rings do? I mean, I guess the rings could have something to do with like his abilities, maybe. Adios. Bye, Tails. Um. Okay. So, wait, did I just show it? I did, I think. Okay, yeah, that's weird to me because that's what I thought. Okay, when we saw the trailers, I thought there was like maybe multiple little enemies floating around, part of one enemy, and he was doing kind of like a team blast, weird sporadic like multi homing attack kind of thing, or um what do they call it in Sonic Adventure? Um, dang it, what did they call it in Sonic Adventure? You got the light speed dash, and you got I forgot what it was. I can't believe it. The The enemies look good, and I was right on the lack of eggs so far. The lack of eggs. You mean the lack of eggs? You mean like? You mean how there's not that many enemies because they lack the cojones to challenge Sonic, or like, what? Wait, sorry, the web. Same thing. Um, do another one. What was the other one? Yeah, that's just super weird. I think look, it looks cool. I just think that because it doesn't actually do anything, that it's basically just an animation. It's an automated animation where you do an attack and it does this elaborate thing that you're gonna watch. And I know that a lot of people are gonna have an issue with that. They're because they're thinking like how immersive is it and how much is it just you watching what's happening? So I think for a lot of like Sonic fans who don't usually play open world games and Sonic games. Obviously, they're going to be just thinking of Sonic and thinking it might be fine, and that's not a big deal, I guess. Like if the Sonic fans like it, then that's good. And like I said, I don't play a lot of open world games. I didn't think about it until afterwards. I was like, wait, is Assassin's Creed or Spider Man are those open world games? And I mean, I guess they are. And so I guess I have, and I just didn't think of it that way. But um, in terms of that, there might be people who will play it and it won't be exactly like that, you know. So it's definitely, it's almost like it's kind of just putting its foot in the water, just barely testing it out. For me, it's just interesting seeing Sonic in a game like this. It's interesting seeing Sonic in a game like this. It's very different. And as long as it works fine, I'm okay with it. I'm not very pessimistic about the game. I'm not worried about the game. I'm just not necessarily like excited about it like some of my fellow co-hosts are maybe. But I am happy for them, and if anybody has any complaints about the game, will I'm just gonna be like, well, I understand. Um, I meant no Eggman, and I think the movie you're referring to is Sonic Wind. Which move? Are you talking about the when I was talking about the spin cycle, or are you talking about when I was saying like he's being sporadic and no, not Sonic Wind. That's from Sonic Adventure 2. I'm talking about in Sonic Adventure, um, when you first get the light speed dash, you is where you spin dash, and then you know you T-Call first tells you you can travel across the Trail of Rings, then you get a shortened version of it, because I don't know why they had the long version in the first place. And then the light speed attack. There we go. It's just called the light speed attack, where I think it, yeah, you get this like light orb that looks like Tikal's brother or something, and it makes it so that whenever you charge up the light speed dash, if you're near enemies, it'll just, like whip around it and or whatever enemies are around and knock them out. It was kind of like when Knuckles got his gloves and then he could charge up and do the maximum heat Knuckles attack. It was basically Knuckles' version of the same attack. Um, that was quite a name, wasn't it? Maximum heat Knuckles attack. Was it Knuckles attack? Maximum heat Knuckles attack. Maximum heat punch attack. Man, wow. You know what? I normally don't have a problem remembering those names, but it's been a while now. But anyways, I thought it was gonna be something like that. It's just kind of like an animation. It's a cool animation, but some people are gonna point out the automation in it, so watch out for that. Um, which brings up a heavy point. Let me look at another attack first before I get to that. Wait, what? Do you have like this dodging up? I think that looks cool. Although I feel like that would be even cooler if you. I wonder if it's just also a long animation, or if you have to like rapidly press something. That reminds me of like his attack from Sonic Battle. You know what I'm talking about? Like the one in the picture. You flip over, he kicks, and then there's like the Sonic, like the wind thing that he just like shoots forward. It reminds me of that, but like rapidly. And I think he's like, is he? I think he's just. What is he doing? He is kicking, right? Like he's doing that with his legs. He's just creating like these little fiery sonic booms with his legs and just like firing them at someone. That's a cool concept, I think, and it looks cool. It's pretty quick. The camera doesn't like fly off just to show it. Like I could see that being in other Sonic games, uh, at some point. The spin cycle, I have to admit, I thought would be faster. And also, is it going to be OP? Because that. Oh, okay. No, no, no. So it didn't destroy it, but it did like in Sonic Heroes. It just got rid of its shield to make it vulnerable. And this looks this looks weird. It looks borderline inappropriate, but um, looks like his like intestine or something. It was a cool enemy. I liked how it, like, opens up like a blade and does all that. I wish it did more. I wish that they were kind of like mini bosses, like that they didn't, because Sonic has fought in boss fights before, and I didn't think of it until right now. But it totally would be pretty cool if they were just like mini bosses, or if you had like softcore enemies like this, and then enemies that are more like mini bosses, and then the Titans, and then maybe the Titans get harder over time. I mean, there's 4 islands. I wonder how many Titans are on each island or in each area. Um, I wonder how big the map actually is. Okay, so what I was saying before, I wanted to touch on a subject that I noticed something that's emerging from the fan base in the wake of seeing these videos so far, and that is that you have it's the divide in the reaction to Sonic Frontiers, but it's something that we. Oh, did my connection get weird? Oh, well, okay, so the divide in the reaction to Sonic Frontiers, which is not abnormal for Sonic games in general and fans in general, but it's just that, especially to something like this, um, you'll notice that you will have people who are super negative about this. Particularly, Sam procrastinates, Premi de Remy, but those are just Sonic tubers, right? You get to hear their voice, you get to hear them rant about the games and stuff. But online, you'll see people complain as well, and so what happens is they see it, they notice that the gameplay is a lot like the Sonic Forces, and they that's discouraging, and then they become super negative. They nitpick at every little thing. I've noticed, to the point where, like, I was looking at Sam's live stream and people were nitpicking at the bird because they called it like the T pose bird, and I don't know if you've noticed, but birds usually T pose when they fly, anyways. And I guess it was because it doesn't have a lot of movement. It's really stiff or something, and that's not something I notice. That's not something I care about. It's gliding. It barely needs movement, anyways. You're not even gonna really see it unless you follow it or it's on screen for a while. It might also just be because it's they're gliding. Like, I don't know. That, to me, that's a nitpick. That's, I don't care about that. Um, the automation has been a problem for a while, so I think it's a valid criticism. Uh, I don't think it's the end of the world. An open world, I feel like you could avoid it. And so, but then that brings me to my next point, that it people will look at this game and think like, oh, this looks great. It looks cool seeing. You've never seen Sonic in something like this before. Officially, it's really cool to see. A lot of people are really excited. They're excited for the graphics. They're excited for the music. They're excited for Ian Flynn writing the story. They're excited for the concept. The gameplay works. He's running around just fine. He can jump and attack stuff just fine. Really, it doesn't look horrible. But some people are saying that this looks really bad. It's a really bad trailer or really bad gameplay video. And honestly, it's not that bad. It looks fine. It doesn't look like a bad game at all. It looks okay. Um, on the flip side, there's a thing called toxic positivity, where when people do have criticisms, in response to that, we will call them idiots, or make some kind of eye rolling gesture to dismiss any criticism that they may have and make excuses, give them the benefit of the doubt constantly. And it's kind of, it's equally as bad, because now you're just silencing people who do have concerns because they have different opinions. Not everybody is going to have criticisms in a super cynical negative way. Um, and it that's kind of annoying to see too, because the thing is that like a lot of people will be super positive until the game comes out, and then, like with Sonic Lost World, like I liked Sonic Lost World, but I remember when I was seeing the trailers, I thought like, oh, okay, it doesn't look crazy or anything. It's whatever. Everyone else is like, this is like the best thing ever. It looks super, like like something brand new. Like it's really cool. People were comparing it to Galaxy still, but they thought it looked like an amazing game. And then uh, I don't think it was a bad game. And I think like half the fan base liked it, but you know how that goes. The other half of the fan base didn't like it, and the people who don't like it are usually the louder half that ends up sounding like the majority because they have more to say. And a lot of them were people who were super excited for the game and got disappointed. What happened with 06? 06 was a game that people were excited for because of the trailers, and then they got disappointed. That's history lesson there. But Sonic 06 was never really Sonic 06. I'm not gonna defend it. I'm not gonna say it's like a good game or whatever. It's a mess, but it was never as bad as people exaggerated it to sound like it was. And people exaggerated it because they were disappointed, and then other people exaggerated it because they heard people talk bad about it in the first place. and and then that's probably why you have like a new wave of people coming out and saying like it's a great game, it's not that bad, because they're finally trying it out for themselves and then realizing it's not as bad as people said it was. And their standards were so low, they played it and they're like, oh, it's fine. And people are starting to like 06, and then the people who always liked it were just like, yeah, I always liked it to begin with. And there you go. Sonic Forces was a mediocre game. It's not a bad game. It was mediocre. It was lackluster. And for me, one of the issues with it was the controls, but it wasn't like 06 where it's like, oh, the physics are just unplayable. I just didn't like the movements as much. It was uncomfortable. It was a little harder to control. Um, it didn't feel as natural. It felt almost like if I were running, all of a sudden Sonic would like go too fast in some parts and slow down and go too fast, and it was harder to make sure I could platform properly without accidentally falling off. I didn't have that precise control like in Sonic Adventure 2. A lot of people say Sonic Adventure 1, but for me, Sonic Adventure 2 feels more natural, more precise. Sonic Adventure 1 is pretty good, but it feels a little slippery to me in comparison. But they're very similar, so either one works. I feel like Sonic Adventure 2's physics, like if they're gonna rip physics from Sonic Forces, I feel like they can rip physics from any past game. And this is not because I like the adventure game so much, but I feel like Sonic Adventure 2's gameplay and physics would actually work well with the footage that I'm seeing, the way he runs and what like through like the forest and everything and up and down the hills and around this environment. But whatever. The point is I don't like the way it feels running with like Forces gameplay, and if that's how it feels for here, I might not like it as much. But that doesn't mean I'm going to hate it either. Like I felt that way even with Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Generations, and Sonic Colors. I thought that they controlled like a tank. They're really stiff. You can't run around in a tight circle like you could back in the day. And I mean, I don't like that, but I love Generations because the type of gameplay they're going for. And so with this game, who knows? Maybe I won't like how it feels as much, but that doesn't mean I won't like the game still. I won't like the automation, but that doesn't mean I won't still like some of the stuff that's around it. Like I'm not a harsh critic, but I will have things that I would like to change. Like I've accepted oh great, never mind. I was gonna say I've accepted the model for what it is, even though I don't like it as much. But they've obviously tweaked the model, and again, I still don't mind the model, but I guess that's not going to resonate with people because of that really dumb, in my opinion, really dumb complaint about the model. Because his hair is slightly shorter, and I guess his blue is slightly different. But I mean, he looks the same. I don't. Who cares? I don't know why people. I don't know how people can look back at the green eyes thing and see how ridiculous it is, and then turn around and be like, so his hair is 3 centimeters shorter, and now it's ruined. I don't know. The model is the least of my worries here. My only issue is that it's automated sections a lot, and that there isn't that much to do here, and that it's the forces physics, and that's it really. Like if it were like I don't know if the physics looked a little better running around, I'd be like, oh cool. It wouldn't be like a huge difference, but I would be like, hey, this is cool. It feels better. Then all you need is more enemies or more obstacles, maybe or something. Maybe they have that in the rest of the game. Who knows? Uh, Boom, that's fixed. And then get rid of some of the dash panels, and and then for the most part, that's the majority of my issues with the game. So I don't know. I I'm probably the most honest critical one so far in the team. I think everyone else is a little bit more like overly optimistic. I don't, or maybe they are more honest about it too. I don't know. Um, I'm definitely not going to say like, oh, it's a beta. If this is a beta, it's too late for that. That's weird. The game's almost out. On top of the fact that it was already delayed. On top of the fact that the last game we got was the 25th anniversary, which was also late. And so this shouldn't be the beta. This should be like the gamma. This should be like the delta build or something already. But also, if it were the beta, I would be like oh, why are they not done yet? But I mean, I don't know. Maybe they spent all the time working on the environment and then just barely started working on the gameplay, like I said before. If 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 it's just because it's not finished, and it's not finished, there's still more to do. But we don't know what they're going to fix. We don't know what they're going to listen to. So it's just they could listen to the criticism. They could fix it. I usually save the judgment when I see the full game or play it myself. The negativity needs to relax. Uh, like if it's good, I'll pick it up. If it's bad, I'll give it some time before putting it on my radar. Yeah, well, because here's the thing though, is that a lot of people will point out is that if that were the case, you wouldn't need to see. No, I mean that is the case, but like people, um, some people can reserve judgment. That's fine because you need to see more. For all I know, the rest of the islands, the cyberspace stages make a drastic difference. This is probably like 5% of the game that I'm looking at here, and it might not even be the majority of the game. However, for me, what I'm just noticing is that within this 5%, there's the automation. What is up with the connection? I don't know. I don't know how I sound to you guys. I don't have anyone here to give me feedback. I just know on the screen it's telling me that there's like a connection thing going on. But if there's automation here, I'm going to assume most likely there's automation within the rest of the game. And I don't know if it's not as bad as this or if it's worse. Maybe it's more here because it's a beginning thing. But it doesn't give some people a lot of hope because it's a thing that they do in Sonic games anyways. Because you have to remember there's a track record behind this too that's influencing people's opinions of some of the things that they're saying here. So some people who are really negative, they're super pessimistic and cynical. But part of it is because they were building up to this anyways, and so I mean, like Luis told me, like it might not be so bad because they're still fixing it, and Sega's learned their lesson. But we don't know if they've learned their lesson, and if they have learned their lesson, we don't even know what lesson they learned. And honestly, it could just be a difference of opinion. The game could come out, and then maybe the people who are cynical about what they've seen so far were right. So when the game comes out, it's exactly what they expected and what they hoped it wouldn't be, and they just won't like the game. It's just not for them. And maybe the people who were optimistic, they don't have a problem with some of these things, and so they'll like it, and they won't see what the problem is. And then what we're going to have is that divide where some people hate the game and some people love the game, and then they argue, and people who love the game say that the people who hate the game just want to criticize everything to look edgy, blah blah blah. And then the people who hate the game will just look at the positive people and say like, oh, they'll just like anything that you slap Sonic onto, it doesn't matter. And then that's why we have poor quality games, and Sonic is a laughing stock. And I was like, I don't think Sonic's a laughing stock here, but I don't know. There's something wrong with our fan base not understanding the difference of opinions and going to this huge extreme. That for now, that's all I'm gonna say about that. I know this is gonna be a conversation later, because we're gonna have more examples of this with other hosts and other gameplay videos. We still haven't seen the cyberspace stages yet to see how the boost gameplay will look, and which is weird because I don't think they've even told us that there's going to be cyberspace stages that are boost levels. Again, this is for anybody out there who doesn't know, that information comes from the person who supposedly beta tested the game. There's supposed to be actual boost stages throughout this game as well. So, yeah, that's that. I think that's all I have to say about this so far. I mean, they gave it to us to show us, to excite us, to give us an impression, to make not a complete judgment on, but a judgment enough to decide if it looks appealing and interesting. And I think the confusion might be because as a Sonic fan, you anticipate the next game anyways, and you want to get it because you've been following Sonic this whole time, and you're automatically going to get the next big thing, and just so you can be included. And maybe that is why we have that disconnect there, where some people are like, no, this is how you judge games in general. Like, this looks cool, I'm interested. Then it comes out, and then you find out more, and you find out if you're interested or not. But with Sonic, it's like, well, I don't even have to see anything at all. I can go in completely blind and still buy the game, and then decide if I like it or not. I hope this is at Comic-Con, though, because I'm going to Comic-Con, and I remember I played Sonic Forces and Sonic Mania there in 2017. So if that's the case, if it's there, I could try it out and then come back and be like, hey, I played Sonic Frontiers. It's not bad. That's what I hope to say. I mean, I don't think I probably will say that. Even with automation, like, I have nitpicks, but like, they're not gonna, for me anyways, like, I can play Sonic 06. I have Sonic 06. I can play Sonic 06 just fine. I get frustrated once in a while, and but I can still play it. I can admit the flaws in the game and then still play it, if that makes any sense. So whatever issues I might have with this game, I might have those issues, but I might not be passionate about my hatred for those issues like some YouTubers. So yeah, I think and then that was it, right? We saw the attacks already pretty much, and did just these was it three enemies? No, three enemies and the Titan. That's right. Sorry, hold on. Which I didn't know was a Titan. I thought this was a set piece. Are the Titans going to be set pieces that just randomly decide to fight you? Like, because I thought there were rails coming from this thing. Like, and I'm getting like weird like Digimon vibes from some of these enemies too. The way they look, for some reason. But okay. Well, and then at some point, according to the person who beta tested it, and is that the wait a minute? See, the bird is flapping its wings. What the heck? See, why? And I'm over here judging the bird and its movements now, but that bird really just flew right in the middle of this mess too. What is going on? It flew in a circle and it came back. There's, I don't know, Luke. I think that bird's a little sus. I think there's something going on with that bird. I don't know. I'm probably looking too deep into this, but that bird is. There's something about that bird. I swear. I swear. Okay, well, we'll find out. Now all we need is the story. That is true. Or we need to see cyberspace stages, the boost stages. We need to see some other locations, and then we just a peek at them, and then we need to see something story related, like a cutscenes or how cutscenes interact with the story. We need to see the HUD because eventually they're gonna have to show that off, like the mechanics, right? So that's gonna be pretty interesting. I still think. I hope that I don't know. I'm still interested in that. I'm still interested in the story. I know the story is not like the main thing, but I think in today's Sonic game, it's a big thing. Like Sonic Generations, I love it. I put it up there as like on the pedestal with like the classic games, the adventure games, and like where it's like to me, it's like that the what is it the double S tier rank, like it cannot be passed, it can only be joined, kind of tier. And I and that's all because of gameplay, because of the way they remaster like the stages and stuff, and like this art style. They do a lot of things that you wouldn't expect them to do. I'm like, wow, I never thought you would do this. This is so surreal, and that's what I want from Sonic. I want them to do the things that I don't predict that they will actually do. I want them to do the things like in the Sonic movies where sometimes some people were just like oh, I'm not surprised by this at all, but for me I was, because from that first movie I was like, man, like that, like I like the movie, but I started to get like the feeling like, well, maybe they'll just stay in a certain lane. And then the second movie was like, no, we're actually gonna do these things and show these things, and I was just surprised, like they actually showed it. Like I never thought I would see these things on the big screen, and that was pretty amazing, and that's what I want to feel from the games too. Like with Sonic Colors Ultimate, with that title, I was thinking like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I was like, hey, if you're gonna call it Sonic Colors Ultimate, in my opinion, I would have retconned some of the story. I would have changed some of the dialogue, added cutscenes, replaced cutscenes, edited cutscenes. I would have added elements from the DS storyline, showed the Mother Wisp in the 3D version of the game. I would have done the graphics so much better if I were like in charge of that. I'd be like, hey, this needs to look good and not give people seizures. And and then they'll be like, but I thought it was called Sonic Colors. But yeah, if it had a title like that, I would want them to do something like that. And I guess that's too much for some people, but for me, I'm like, hey, look, we already have the original Sonic Colors. If you do like a remaster remix with like new elements in it, I don't think it's gonna hurt anything. That's kind of what we're doing with Sonic Origins, right? They're not trying to make it one to one like the original games. They're doing the Christian Whitehead versions of Sonic 1 and 2, and I think CD also. And then like Sonic 3 and Knuckles is a build that Headcanon had worked on, and then they added like ranking systems for missions and stuff, and it's like, yeah, they're basically taking the old games, but they're giving you somewhat of a new experience. And that's what I would have done with like Sonic Colors Ultimate, because that's not what I would expect them to do. I want them to do what I don't expect them to do, and that's what I would want from Sonic Frontiers. And just having it be open world in general is one big thing for me, because I never thought they would do that. I Everybody was talking about like how they would want to see an open world Sonic game, and I'm like, they're never gonna do that, and they did it. So I think that's pretty cool. I just wish they did that with some of the other elements, but I don't know. We'll see. And somebody's mentioned playing Supersonic fighting one of the Titans. Who knows what the story's going to be like? Ian Flynn is writing the story. Never thought I would see that. So that's another example. And I'm hoping the story goes back in the direction we all want to see. And hopefully someday we'll actually see characters playable again, because that's also something I don't expect to see. But I don't know. They're taking baby steps, I guess. Anyways, that's enough of me yapping. You hear me do that all the time, anyways, and now it's just me. So, I think that's all I have to say about this masterpiece. If anyone remembers, I was supposed to color a drawing that I did a while back, but as I said, my computer messed up for a while, and I wasn't prepared for that right now. So it'll come at a time when you least expect it, I suppose, but it will eventually happen. I need to find out like how I'm supposed to do it, because I wanted to color the picture like the adventure style, and it's a drawing I did of movie Knuckles and movie Robotnik before seeing Sonic 2. Man, it's been so long and I still haven't colored that picture. I could just draw another picture, a new picture, and color it, but I'm gonna color that picture first. I'm gonna test it out. And actually, that's gonna be difficult too with movie Knuckles' fur and quills and stuff like that. But whatever. That point is that'll come eventually. I'll do more artwork and drawing and stuff while having these talks and whatever. Maybe I'll do it while the other hosts are here, so you have something to look at in the background. I guess let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in seeing more of in the future. Anyways, just random drawing, and then of course I got to find out who that guest was in that one live stream recently. Because somebody mentioned something about some kind of like drawing competition between me and them, which I don't know how that would work, but sounds fun. So that being said, I think we're done here for today. I don't suspect there will be a live stream later today for the other hosts, but there is one I think coming tomorrow, Houston, with the Tallahassee's Infinity Con thing going on. So be prepared for that. And yes, as you said, adios for now. And thank you for watching. And have a good rest of your day. Or if you're in a time zone where it's towards the end of your day, have a good evening and have a good night. And see you next time, everybody.